This week's top Disney news stories include a massive shakeup for movie release dates, Disney furloughing its employees, and there are also stories about Disneyland and Disney World during the closures, as well as a number of smaller stories. Stay tuned, and I'll break it all down. Well, hello there. My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney, where I talk about all aspects of Disney, from the animated movies to the theme parks to Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar, and the TV shows, and everything else in between. And that is why it's Freeform. And keep coming back every day for new daily content. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now it's that time of the week once more, so on to this week's biggest Disney news stories. As is often the case nowadays, our biggest stories are often directly or indirectly related to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And this week is, sadly, certainly no different. Our top story of the week is a massive shakeup to Disney's movie release schedule. First off, the MCU has shifted. Black Widow has gotten a new release date. Previously, it had just been removed from its release date, but now we know it'll be coming out November 6th. That was the previous release date for the Eternals. So this has had a ripple effect. So now Eternals has moved to February 12th, which is where Shang-Chi was, which is now moved to May 7th, causing Doctor Strange to move to November 5th of next year, causing Thor, Love and Thunder to move to February 8th of 2022. So big ripple effect in the MCU. Now that said, Spider-Man 3 still currently has the release date of July 16th of next year. But that's because technically Sony has that release date, which is the deal between Disney and Sony as far as how the releases work. One can expect this will probably get delayed as well, as it probably fits into the MCU, specifically in the order it was being put out, but we don't know. Perhaps it still will come out July 16th of next year. Also, we have no idea about the MCU's Disney Plus shows at this point. Will they be delayed? No information has been given. We never had specific release dates anyway. They were broad summer, fall, but we don't know what the end effects are there yet or how they tie in directly to these movies and whether they need to be delayed in order to still work at the right times. We do know production has been halted on both the Loki show and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, so we expect those probably will get delayed at the very least. How that affects WandaVision, whether WandaVision could come before the one, we don't know, or whether everything will just get delayed similarly to what just happened with the movies. Intriguingly, a new date was actually dropped in for a movie that didn't have one yet, which is Captain Marvel 2 now has a date. It will be July 8th, 2022, so that'll be after Black Panther's May 6th opening, which is still the same as what it used to be. So maybe by the time we get into 2022, we'll actually finally get back on schedule for where things were originally going to be for the MCU. Now, we also got other movie dates outside of the MCU as well. Milan finally has a new date. It will be July 24th, 2020, which means that Jungle Book got pushed back to next year, where it'll come out July 30th of next year. Also, Indiana Jones 5 has gotten bumped back from 2021 all the way back to 2022, so a year delay there. Similar reason as we get a cascading fallbacks as we saw before. And Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, which was originally started under Fox, will be coming out on December 11th now. It's gotten bumped back from its summer release. And so that's a whole bunch of bump backs right there. We've also had one movie which is no longer getting released in theaters at all, and that's Artemis Fowl. So that will be coming to Disney Plus directly. We don't know the release date. Originally it was going to come to theaters on May 29th. I imagine this also has part to do with the lackluster response, shall we say, to Artemis Fowl so far. Frankly speaking, that trailer, if you were to look on YouTube, actually has more downvotes than it has upvotes on it. Apparently, Disney did a horrible job of sticking to the source material to the point that people wonder why they used it and made an Artemis Fowl movie at all. This probably has something to do with why Artemis Fowl also got bumped to go ahead and be on Disney+. And also, it's not the first time Artemis Fowl got bumped, because it actually was originally going to come out last year. The other movie that a lot of us have been wondering and speculating if it'll become a Disney Plus movie is The New Mutants, because it's gotten bumped numerous times, and now it got bumped again this year. And oddly, we heard nothing about New Mutants in this whole release date information. There was no new date given for it. nor was any information given that it would be on Disney Plus, so it's still in limbo right now. If I was a betting man, I would bet that New Mutants is probably going to go directly to Disney Plus. That would be my bet anyway. We'll see though, right? And the one last piece I want to give is that Pixar's Soul is still scheduled for June 20th at this point in time. That means Disney is expecting to be able to release Soul in 2.5 months into the theaters and hoping that will work. I think that is incredibly optimistic, shall we say. Frankly, even Milan coming out in the middle of July still seems optimistic as well. My guess is both of those will have to get bumped back further, but we've seen this from other studios as well. They're hoping that things will open up and they don't want to miss out on the opening date if it comes, because that's a ton of money for having one of the first big blockbusters of the summer. And if you're there without any blockbusters at all for a month or two after the theaters open, well, that's a huge problem for you. But take a look at how far Black Widow got bumped back. All the way till November. It's not that Disney couldn't find a different slot to put Black Widow into that was earlier. I think Black Widow gives a little better idea of what Disney really thinks will happen. Because if they keep having to bump Black Widow, they have to deal with the rest of the MCU at the same time. Milan, on the other hand, Milan you can bump back without having to bump back a whole bunch of other movies that are directly tied to it. Yes, whatever it'll probably go into the slot of, that'll get bumped, but nothing else directly. So I don't think Disney really expects the June date to work, and I don't think they expect the July date necessarily to work for Milan. But they're hoping and they're hedging their bets by putting it where it is. Ultimately, let's be honest, it would be nice if those did open then and we got to see the movies, because I'm waiting for them and I would love to see them. I'd love for conditions to be good enough for us to actually be able to go out and see movies at that point. What about you? What do you think? When do you think they'll come out? Continuing onward, our next story is one I predicted last week, and that is Disney furloughing its employees. Last week, we had received the news that Disney was closing its U.S. parks indefinitely, and that they would continue to pay their employees through April 18th. I predicted at that time that a furlough was likely after that date, or sometime not that long after at the latest. While I wish I had been incorrect, Disney proved that my prediction on the furlough was right when they announced yesterday the following in a letter. Disney said, quote, "The COVID-19 pandemic is having a devastating impact on our world with untold suffering and loss, and has required all of us to make sacrifices. Over the last few weeks, mandatory decrees from government officials have shut down a majority of our businesses. Disney employees have received full pay and benefits during this time, and we've committed to paying them through April 18th for a total of 5 additional weeks of compensation. However, with no clear indication when we can restart our businesses, we're forced to make the difficult decision to take the next step and furlough employees whose jobs aren't necessary at this time. The furlough process will begin on April 19th, and all impacted workers will remain Disney employees through the duration of the furlough period. They will receive full health care benefits, plus the cost of employee and company premiums will be paid by Disney. And those enrolled in Disney Aspire will have continued access to the education program. Additionally, employees with available paid time off can elect to use some of it or all of it at the start of the furlough period, and once furloughed, they are eligible to receive an extra $600 per week in federal compensation through the $2 trillion economic stimulus bill, as well as state unemployment insurance." End quote. There are some really good pieces within there. First off, the healthcare benefits are being kept for all the employees of Disney that will be furloughed. Also, on top of that, Disney is saying they're going to go ahead and pay all of the employee and company premiums for the healthcare. And that's definitely really good as well. Also, the Disney Aspire thing is also really nice that Disney's going to make sure that their employees still have access to that. Now, who all does this apply to? Because it doesn't actually apply to all of Disney's employees. So according to the Orange County Register, it applies to U.S.-based executives, salaried and non-union hourly employees of Disney parks, experiences, and product. Now, you'll note the piece about that being non-union. The other piece that we found out recently is that Disney is in talk with the unions about furloughing. And that represents tens of thousands of cast members at the Disneyland Resort and the Walt Disney World Resort. As I said last week, my heart goes out to all of the Disney employees and cast members who are affected by all of this, who are trying to figure out what to go ahead and do in light of worrying about unemployment from the state, whether they're in California or Florida or somewhere else and employed by Disney and no longer considered to be an essential worker. So good luck to all of you. If any of you out there are cast members or Disney employees and would like to comment down below or reach out and talk about how this is affecting you, please feel free to reach out. This is clearly a hard time for all of us, and certainly a hard time for some more than others. So good luck to all the Disney employees and cast members, and good luck to all of us as we go through this pandemic. Okay, let's change course. It's time for a bloated one this time, but it's time for the lightning round, everyone. Onward is now available on Disney+. You can see my review of it by clicking in the top right. Ant-Man 3 has added Jeff Loveness as a writer. Jeff Loveness is well known for his writing on the show Rick and Morty, so looking forward to some of that humor being brought over to Ant-Man 3. The Obi-Wan series also has a new writer. His only big work so far is the Guy Ritchie take on King Arthur, which was not so well received. Here's hoping for the best. I'm really looking forward to the Obi-Wan series, so I'm hoping that works out. Disney Plus has now come to India. Disney owns Hotstar over in India, which is a popular streaming and on-demand service there, which they happened to acquire when they bought Fox. Instead of launching Disney Plus separately in India, they've decided to use the Hotstar infrastructure they already have and just combine the two. So now it'll be Hotstar Disney Plus. The Middle East also now has a path to getting Disney Plus originals. While Disney has no plans in the near future for bringing Disney Plus to the Middle East, they have partnered with OSN to distribute Disney Plus originals. And this actually marks the first time that Disney Plus originals will be shown outside of Disney Plus. The Simpsons finally has an expected date to be in its original 4:3 aspect ratio on Disney Plus, and that is the end of May, more than a half year after the service launched. This has been a point of some consternation for many, as a number of jokes are lost when the edges of the original screen size were chopped off. At least we've got some good news that that's going to come to an end, hopefully at the end of May. Finally, for the lightning round, Disney has donated 150,000 rain ponchos to MedShare to help nurses and doctors fight against COVID-19. Due to lack of enough PPE, personal protective equipment, that nurses and doctors have, some have found that they could use rain ponchos to at least try to replace some of that PPE. And so Disney's helping out by sending 150,000 rain ponchos to MedShare to help in the pandemic. They also recently donated 100,000 N95 masks to the states of New York, California, and Florida. We will end on a story which has a collection of Disney park feel-good stories. First off, security cast members are still raising the flag over at Magic Kingdom. Josh D'Amaro, president of Walt Disney World Resort, said in an Instagram post that, quote, "While our world looks very different today, one thing endures. The American flag still flies over Walt Disney World. I'm inspired how our security cast members continue to raise it each and every morning at Magic Kingdom while they are on duty protecting the magic. It's a symbol that we're still here and will not falter. I hope this inspires you as well. We will be back. Thanks to all our incredible cast members who continue to maintain the magic until that day. Until then, please take care of yourselves and your families. We will see you soon." End quote. It's nice to see some piece of Disney still continuing during this time. And it's a nice gesture, a nice hopeful gesture for the future. Disneyland also has one. Over in Disneyland, the light is still on inside Walt's apartment. Rebecca Campbell, president of Disneyland Resort, had this to say over on Instagram. She said, quote, "Inside Walt Disney's apartment overlooking Town Square at Disneyland, a light has shone through the window above the firehouse for decades. It glows as a source of inspiration to our cast and our guests as a remembrance of the man who once looked out that window to the sights of happy families making memories below. Today, even in a world filled with so much uncertainty, that light still shines bright as ever. I'm looking forward to the day when families can make memories once again." End quote. Another really nice gesture for the continuation of Disney and the hopes for the future once we are through the pandemic far enough that parks can open, that there can be some form of normalcy to our lives, quote unquote, or what will be the new normal when that time comes. And then there's one other story I'd like to go ahead and put out there for the continuation of Disney. And that doesn't have to do with things that humans have directly done with raising flags or leaving lights on, but over in Animal Kingdom, another new baby animal is born. And it's another cute animal, of course. And this time it's a new Hartman's zebra foal. So let's leave you off on that note right there. So that's the news for this week. Did I miss any big Disney news stories? Which of those Disney movies are you looking most forward to? Let me know down below in the comments. And thanks for watching. If you liked it, please give it a like and share it with your friends. I'll be back tomorrow with another new video. If you haven't done it yet, please click that subscribe button and ring the bell. And as always, everyone, have a magical day, and may the Force be with you always.